All right, so welcome. In this lesson 8, so on compound interest, we're going to try to find the formula for the term rate, okay, which is I. So I is right here, okay, and now we would want to try to see, okay, how would we get a formula for this? So in all the previous lessons on compound interest, we had been able to isolate, obviously, this future value, okay, which came from the compounding factor. We have been able to find a formula for the present value, okay, and in one of the previous ones, the last one, okay, we were able to isolate, and I showed you the formula for n, which was just the number of terms that you would have in total in your compounding, whatever it may be, investing or borrowing. But now, what would happen if we had a question, as you just see here on the screen? So it would ask us at what interest rate, okay, so compounded monthly, would you have to invest such that $10,000 would grow to $100,000 in 20 years? So this is interesting because in this case, we are given the present value, okay, or the principal. We're told what the future value, at least that we want, and it says that we are going to be investing, okay, in this case for 20 years. Now it could have been borrowing, whatever it may be. In that case, we would owe the 100,000. So now, okay, how do we tackle this question when we're actually trying to find what the interest is? Now we do know that we're compounding monthly, so we have that, okay, and now what's going to happen and how are we going to solve it? All right, so let me again, so just write down every time I take a look and I solve for these types of questions, I always try to pick off the givens. And one of the key things is as soon as I see compounding, I know that I will need the following. So I'm going to know, okay, or I'm going to need to know is how am I compounding? So how many terms do I have per year? So this is monthly. So that would be 12 terms in 1 year, of course. Okay, so that's my M. My N, so in this case, I actually know my N. So again, remember, this is the number of years that we have multiplied by M. So we have 20 years multiplied by 12. And so that will give us, okay, how many terms we would have in total. Okay, so next case, so we would want to know J. Well, we don't know J because that's exactly what they're asking us for. So we don't know this, and because we don't know this, we of course, okay, do not know I. And I was supposed to be J divided by M, okay, and in this case it would be 12. So if I really want to try to find out J, okay, so notice I can isolate this, can multiply both sides by 12. So J is going to be equal to 12 multiplied by I, okay, if I'm going to need to find it. And I don't have it in this case, and I don't have a formula for it, at least as of yet. Okay, now I do have my other knowns, which is future value is supposed to be 100,000. And I know my present value is supposed to be 10,000, and that's what I have. That's all my givens that I carry. Now again, just as I mentioned in the past videos, once you have a business calculator, all you really know or all you really need to know is if you know all of this, okay, and let's say you know that, you're going to be able to find, okay, what this is. Okay, so because the business calculator integrates that in, and I'll do a link because I did a full video on it. Okay, and I encourage anyone and everyone to invest in a business calculator if you're going in that path. Now, if you're not going in that path, okay, then you're going to have to try to do it on a scientific calculator. All right. Now, before we solve this, okay, let's take our formula, and I just want to show you how are we going to be isolating for this I. So most people will not really care or mind, but some people may be interested in, okay, in the actual derivation of the formula. So here it is. Okay, if you're interested in only the formula itself, you can skip a few minutes, I guess. Okay, so future value is equal to present value, okay, multiplied by 1 plus I to the n. And we are supposed to be solving for this I. All right, so step number one, okay, which is common. Because we want to isolate for I, I'm going to divide both sides by PV, and that's going to get rid of that. That's the easiest step that I have. So now I have future value over present value, and now I have only 1 plus I to the power of n. Now, when we were solving for n, which we are not in this case, because n was in the exponent, we needed to use logs or ln to solve. In this case, we are solving for I, and I is not in the exponent, so we don't need logs, but we do need to get rid of, okay, so this n, okay, from the exponent. So how do we do that? So let me just show you a little bit of a trick. It's not really that big of a trick, but keep in mind, okay, that on the left-hand side, I'm going to put this in brackets. So although we technically don't have an exponent there, okay, we don't see it visually, but there is an exponent. The exponent is really 1, right? So on the left-hand side, I have an exponent of 1. On the right-hand side, I have an exponent of n. Now, if I ever asked you, okay, so how do I get rid of n? Okay, and this is the little trick, okay, because I don't want to have n in that exponent. Then what we would do is, okay, or what we can do, okay, so this n, which is in the exponent, I can work with the exponent and say, let me divide in the exponent by n. But I'm going to do that to both sides, okay, like this. Just as I did with the PV. If I divided both sides by PV, then the PV canceled on the right-hand side. Now, in this case, I am trying to get rid of the n from the exponent. So I'm going to be dividing in the exponent. So this n cancels each other off. Now, n divided by n is just 1, right? So what I have done in this case is I have moved that n, that exponent, to the opposite side. And yes, now it's 1 over n, and it's no longer, okay, n. And on the right-hand side, all I have left now is 1 plus I, okay, because we had canceled this off. All right, so that's really the trick. And now, in order to solve for I, okay, I have to move this 1. And I'm going to move the 1 over on the other side, okay, and obviously it will turn negative. So I will have future value over present value, okay, 1 over n minus 1, because I shifted that over, is equal to I. And this now is indeed your formula for I. So it looks very odd. So future value divided by the present value, 1 over n minus 1. So a very, very odd formula that we have. And again, if you have a business calculator, you could have just directly inputted all of this information in. But if you don't, okay, you now see how this formula kind of came about. And sometimes people will know, others will not know. If you have questions, you can leave comments. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Okay, now let's take this formula. Let's take all of these givens, okay, that we had right here, and let's input them into a calculator. Okay, so this is what we're going to have to do. So notice, what do we need? We need, okay, future value and present value. Okay, so that is, okay, goes right here. So we need to know what that is. Okay, then we need to know n. Now we do know n, so in this case n, so it's 20 times 12, which is 240. All right, so we know n, and obviously then it's minus 1. So let's input all of this in. So bracket, okay, future value. So it's 100,000 divided by 10,000. That's in brackets. All right. Now we need an exponent, so we raise it to the exponent. Okay. Now your exponent, okay, on your calculators, you know, there's many different exponents. Sometimes it looks like a little hat. Sometimes it looks like x to the y. Okay. Notice that in this case, okay, on my calculator that you see on the screen, it looks something like this. So now I need to put 1 over n. Okay. So I put bracket. Okay. here, and I'll put 1, whoops, bracket 1, okay, divided by n, which was 240. All right, close bracket. Okay, now I can hit equals, so I have now calculated this entire thing. So with this, what I have, okay, is now that minus 1 equals, and now we get this answer in here. Now remember something, that this is as a decimal and it is I. So if I'm going to write this, I'm going to write it just for completeness. So this is what we have. But remember, it's a decimal. So if you wanted to know, okay, what this is as a percent, you would have to multiply by 100, okay? And that would give you 0.9640276. I'm just keeping them for now. Now this is percent, okay? This is changed to a percent. And that's I, right? Now remember what I is. I is J divided by 12. So if we want to know our nominal rate, okay, then we have to take M, which is 12 because it was monthly, multiplied by this I. So if I want this, I have to multiply this by 12, and now it tells me what J is. So J is approximately 11 point, and I'm going to round it to 1 decimal. That's what it is, compounded monthly. All right? So this would be my answer that I would have. And you have to be mindful of that, okay? And so please try this example on your own and input it into the calculator so that you can see. But ultimately, this is our formula. And if you want to change this back, okay, again, you would have to multiply it by 100 to get it as a percent. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that you found this useful.